Eagles Entertainment.
Welcome, Eagles everywhere, to the Eagles Insider Podcast, presented by Lincoln Financial Group. Insider Dave Spadaro here at the NovaCare Complex. This is a Friday, and it's our tailgate edition. We're here to have some fun. Going to meet an Eagles fan by the name of Lil Dicky. He's a rapper. He's a comedian. He's got his own show on FXX called Dave. Grew up in suburban Philadelphia, and he loves the Eagles. I did an event with him earlier this week, a get out and vote kind of event, and had to ask him, of course, about his interest in the Philadelphia Eagles. Jim Cramer, Mad Money's Jim Cramer, will have his weekly riff. He's feeling like it's going to be a tough one on Sunday. We all know that. But the Eagles can win the game. And we're going to revisit with Calvin Williams. Remember him? Former wide receiver for the Philadelphia Eagles. Those black cleats, where are they? We'll find out in just a bit here. But let's begin our podcast with our weekly one-on-one. Carson Wentz. How do you deal with being in the spotlight? That's one subject. And the other, is this team at 1-3-1? We know the record is not where the Eagles want it to be. Is this team heading in the right direction? Carson Wentz, one-on-one. We welcome you to our weekly one-on-one with quarterback Carson Wentz. Here we are, week 6. I know 1-3-1 is not where you want to be, but do you feel like the team is going in the right direction?
I do. I think, you hit it on the head. Not where we want to be, not what we expected. Obviously, there's a lot of things going on with the protocols, with, no excuses, but a lot of injuries, a lot of moving pieces. But the guys that have been stepping up and the way we've responded and been resilient in some of these games and done some things well, there's a lot of good to build on. There's some small things that are still holding us back that we got to take care of and execute at a higher level. But there's a lot of encouraging things from a lot of these younger guys and the way guys have rallied around. And I think we're going to get this thing turned around.
What about last week's game that I kind of felt it was a loss, of course, and nobody's happy about that, but it felt different to me. Down 17 points, furious rally, showed a lot of heart. Did you feel things coming together in that second half?
I did. I mean, we definitely, like you mentioned, we rallied together. We found a little rhythm there offensively and did some good things to kind of crawl out of the hole that we put ourselves in. And so I thought that was really good to see. Obviously, we came up short there at the end, but we gave ourselves a chance to be in that fight, being down, I believe, 17 points there in the second half. So I was proud of the guys and everybody the way we fought, but just came up a little bit short. But I think it's something that we can build on.
Carson, this team is at some point here going to get back Alshon Jeffrey and Deshaun Jackson. They're on the practice field together. They haven't really played together except for that one game against Washington to open 2019. How does it feel having them back on the field working with this group of wide receivers?
Yeah, it's been fun to see them continue to just, push themselves off the field and everything, but be around. And I think it's exciting for really the entire offense to see the way these young guys have really stepped up and kind of come into their own, but also to know that some of the veteran guys are coming back healthy as well. So I think it's a good problem to have a handful of guys with experience, with the ability to make plays and get open, and it's exciting.
You and Travis connected 10 times last week, 152 and a touchdown. Why such a comfort level at such a quick point with your chemistry with him? How do you develop it so quickly?
Yeah, I credit to him, honestly. Just the way he's been working since he got here, and obviously we didn't get the physical reps, but I saw him on scout team. I saw him, with the twos and everything, and how he worked and how he's gotten better since he got here and just picked up this offense. So, he's a great player. I think he showed last week that it was no fluke, the touchdown he had against San Francisco, and he's a guy that we can keep, building into this offense and keep making plays for us.
What does he do well, Carson? As you look at him, does he provide a good target for you, a catch rate? What do you see when you're looking at number 13?
Yeah, he's a big physical guy. So I think that's, first and foremost, that's what DBs see. They see a guy that's going to, try and win with power and with how he moves. But he's not slow. He can go by DBs like you've seen in games and stuff. So he's just a big, friendly target with a great catch radius, and he has great awareness out on the field. So I think he's a guy, like I said, that we can keep building as a big part of this offense.
How do you think he's handled all of this sudden attention? Have you noticed any change in him?
I have not, and that's something that I like a lot about him. He's been already, all over the league and bounced around, and he's paid his dues, so to speak, and to kind of the way he's kind of rose to the top right now. I think it's definitely rewarding for him, but I've seen just the hunger for him, not change. He's the same guy, and he comes in ready to work every day.
Carson, 2016, you're drafted. You 3-0 start. All of a sudden, everybody wants a piece of Carson Wentz. What is the experience like being thrust into that spotlight so quickly?
Yeah, I mean, it's different for everybody. For starters, it's different for people in this city especially. There's a lot of extra things going on here, so it's different. It's challenging. It depends, on your upbringing and where you're from and past experiences. But it's something that you just got to continue to just be yourself. You can't lose yourself in the midst of it and everything. And like I said, I've seen that with Travis so far, and that's the biggest thing. Is just continue to be you and don't ever change.
Can it be overwhelming for some? I mean, can you understand how it could be overwhelming for people?
Absolutely. Especially if you're the type that reads everything that's written about you, the good, the bad, the ugly, that's said about you. If you buy into all of those things, it can be overwhelming. And there's a lot of expectations and pressure to play in this league, and then you start doing things like that. So if you let that get to you, it can definitely be overwhelming. But if you stay true to yourself and just keep playing ball and being grateful for the opportunity, you can make the most of it.
Other than reading PhiladelphiaEagles.com and listening to the Eagles Insider podcast, do you pay attention ever? Have you ever paid attention to the outside noise?
No, I've learned not to. I've learned that when things are good, I don't need to hear that. When things are bad, I don't need to hear that. I just got to keep coming into work ready to go every week. And that's, like I said, you learn early on that those things can really bring the wrong energy and the wrong things into your life. So I've learned to just, worry about what people are saying in this building and the team and the chemistry of this organization, and that's really all that matters.
The Baltimore Ravens, such a terrific defense, 15.2 points per game allowed. What do they do that makes it work so well for them?
They play fast. That's the biggest thing. You turn on the tape and you see speed all over that defense. You see confusion. You see, they try and, bring all sorts of different blitzes and mix it up and confuse the heck out of you. And so for us, it's just playing fast, doing what we do and executing at a high level and just playing fast when we're, if we miss a blitz or something, it's on to the next play. Those things are going to happen. They're going to get you the way they're designed, but we got to just play fast and execute our stuff.
Carson, fans in the stands on Sunday at Lincoln Financial Field, will you have Carson Wentz family friends in attendance?
They will be there.
Great.
So it's exciting. Even just last week, having fans change the atmosphere. It's still different. It's still a small number, but just even knowing there's fans out there gives you a different perspective, and I think it's extra motivation for all of us. When you play and your family or friends are there, do you know where they're sitting, and then do you acknowledge them during the course of the game? It depends. Depends, where they're at and everything, but definitely did last week knowing there's only a couple fans out there. It's a little easier when there's only, 5,000 fans to locate and know where they're at, but, normal seasons, it's a little tougher. Carson, good luck on Sunday against Baltimore. Let's get a victory here and get to the top of the division once again. Thank you, Dave. Thank you. This past week, the Eagles teamed up with I Am a Voter to host a conversation that included Brandon Graham, Eagles defensive end, and hip-hop artist Lil Dicky. The group discussed the importance of voting, their own personal experiences in past elections, and voter registration deadlines. They also presented important resources that Eagles fans can use to create their own game plan for how to vote in the upcoming election. You can check out the conversation by going to youtube.com/Eagles and clicking on the videos tab. So let's hear from him now. Lil Dicky. He's a rapper, he's an actor, he's a comedian, he's on the rise, and he loves the Philadelphia Eagles. A Philadelphia area native, a local kid who's made good, and we're really proud of him. You know him as Lil Dicky, rapper, comedian, star of the show Dave, which comes back for its second season on FXX. Lil Dicky, how are you?
I'm good.
I noticed that on your website, it is all about voting, not about music. So I really applaud you for living this moment in American history. So I really look forward to this conversation. So thank you very much for joining us. Well, let's talk about football first, Lil Dicky, if we could. You're an Eagles. You're a relative. You grew up in the suburban area. I assume you're a huge Eagles fan. Can you tell me a little bit about your love of the Philadelphia Eagles?
Yeah, I'm from Cheltenham, which is a suburb outside of Northeast Philadelphia. And I feel like honestly, like the way I measure time is like just by Eagles seasons. You know, like I feel like that's been like the one benchmark in my life, like in terms of just like I don't know that I've had anything be such a constant thing that every year from like age 6 to 32 that I was constantly totally fully invested in every single, you know what I mean? So I've always been an Eagles fan. I remember going to the vet with my father, and that stadium was to me very average. I was pretty happy when I was pretty happy when they upgraded the link, and you know, like I'd say my best memory was 2000. Was it 18? Was 2018? You know, I was offered up free tickets to go to the game in Minneapolis, and I turned them down to watch with my high school friends in Philadelphia.
Okay.
So all 10 of us watched the game, and then we hit the streets after, and it was probably the best night of my life.
I respect that. Do you remember early on influential Philadelphia Eagles, favorite Philadelphia Eagles throughout your lifetime?
Yeah, I mean, McNabb. I've always been like a big Donovan McNabb guy. Like, you know, I know he was a controversial Philadelphia athlete, but I've always been pro McNabb. Brian Dawkins, Bobby Taylor, Troy Vincent, Trotter, the Axeman. I mean, those are the things that come to mind.
That's awesome. Well, we thank you for joining us and being a great Eagles fan. Calvin Williams was drafted by Buddy Ryan way back when. You remember him. He and Freddie Barnett teamed up so successfully in that Buddy, Rich Kotite era. And now Calvin Williams is doing the college thing. Let's catch up right here with our legend of the week, former Eagles wide receiver, Calvin Williams. Welcome, everyone. I'm Eagles insider Dave Spadaro. Welcome to our Eagles Legend of the Week. And our Legend of the Week is former Eagles wide receiver Calvin Williams, who played with the Eagles from 1990 to 1996. 296 catches, 295 catches, 3,800 yards. Calvin, 34 touchdowns. It's good to see you. You look great. How you doing?
I'm doing well, man. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate you guys reaching out to me, and always a pleasure when I can, you know, meet with you and the Eagles Nation and talk about things from the past, future, and present.
Calvin, it's interesting. In 2020, the Eagles used 3 draft picks on wide receivers. 1990, it was you, it was Mike Bellamy, it was Fred Barnett. What is so difficult about going from college football wide receiver to NFL wide receiver?
I think looking at it retrospectively, it's a mental game. It depends on what type of system you came out of, and then it's being given the opportunity. And you know, I came from a system the first 2 years being in college where it was a pro system. You know, so I knew how to run routes down the field. We also did a lot of press. Man, I was going against Rod Woodson, Steve Jackson, and Chris Dishman every day in practice. So bump and run coming in the NFL was no thing to me. And then it's the mental part and getting the reps. We knew that, you know, being 3 receivers, the Eagles were looking to do something different. And, you know, we got a lot of reps and got a lot of opportunity. And then it was just up to us to be prepared mentally, to be able to handle it, you know, because it was an intimidating arena. When you come in there, you think about that defense and the guys they had on the other side of the ball. And if you were up for the challenge, you know, cream rises to the top. And, you know, that's what I tried to do.
How about you're a young guy when you come into the NFL. What is the mental pressure? Like, what is, you know, you're making money, you're living this big life. How difficult is that?
It's very difficult because you have Mike Quick, you have Chris Carter, you have Randall Cunningham, you have Reggie White, you have, you know, all these name guys who coming out of high school and college, you're watching them. And the biggest thing is not to be enamored by that. And that's what I tried to do. I just tried to worry about what I could control. And that was knowing my playbook, knowing what to do when I got the opportunity, and then taking advantage of it. And, you know, that was my mindset. You know, I was getting the opportunity to live my childhood dream. And I wasn't, in my mind, I wasn't going to let the opportunity slip by me. And I was going to do everything in my power that I can control to take advantage of that opportunity.
Calvin, I think Eagles fans would fall over at the chance to walk into a locker room with, you and Freddie and Randall and Reggie and all of. What was it like, kind of, with all these years of perspective? These are the biggest names in the history of the NFL.
Mm-hmm. It was like a box of chocolates, man. You never knew what you were going to get. You never knew coming in the morning if you were going to get Reggie White doing Hulk Hogan, Jerome Brown being kind of like what Charles Barkley is today. You never know what's going to come out of his mouth. He's going to be genuine. He's going to tell you the truth. He's going to give it to you straight. And then you had Randall Cunningham, who always wanted to talk business, who was always thinking outside of the box, beyond athletics, and trying to avoid him sometimes because he's always wanting to talk business and things of that nature where you just want to focus on football. Randall, I have to make the team. You're set. I got to do this in order to get where you are. So you never knew, man, and it was just a great time looking back on it. A lot of different personalities. And, I learned a lot in my first couple of years there playing with all those guys.
I ask this question a lot of former players, Calvin. I wonder for you, do you remember, as you look back, the games, the people, the interactions, the fans? Like, when you think about playing in Philadelphia, what are the memories?
The first thing comes to you is the fans. I knew what to expect from, crowded stadiums. I've played in crowded stadiums. But the emotional investment that the Philadelphia fans have is it's nothing equal to it. I've played in Oakland, who have passionate fans. I've played in Kansas City, who have passionate fans. New York Stadium, Meadowlands, passionate fans. And I may be slightly biased, but I'll tell you, nobody who is sane would say that they would want to play. Philadelphia would be your last place you wanted to play when it came to playing football.
You were drafted by Buddy Ryan, the late, great Buddy Ryan, then Rich Kotite. Let's talk about the difference in the styles of coaching and the personalities. I mean, I know Buddy probably never called you Calvin or Williams. He called you by your uniform number, 89. And Richie the K may have gotten your name wrong. Who knows? But what was it like for both of those guys?
It was great. They were different personalities. Obviously, one was a defensive coach who thought, don't pass the football because, three things can happen, two of them are bad. That was his mentality. And then Rich Kotite, who was an offensive-minded guy who had been in the league for years, but never quite connected. And, I think and to his defense, Buddy was so loved. And the way he went out on a winning record and not being given a chance, I think Rich never got a fair shake from the team as a total body. And I think it was unfortunate for him, that he never got a good grasp of the team when Buddy was so loved.
Calvin, what is in your Calvin Williams man cave from your days as a Philadelphia Eagle?
Oh, my goodness. Memorabilia. There's a picture. There's a Super Bowl pretzel picture of me, Andre, Fred, and Reggie. There's an Eagles man cave mantra above my outside door. Eagles pictures of me, framed jerseys, all around from my high school, days, from my college days, but mostly Eagle memorabilia.
Hey, Calvin, last time I saw you, I think, was the snow game, Eagles and Detroit, 2016. What do you remember about that crazy, crazy day?
That crazy, crazy day is a day I'll never forget, and I'll tell you why. In typical Philadelphia fan fashion, we're up in the suite, and we're looking down, and for some reason, some Detroit fans obviously hadn't been notified on attire to wear at a Philadelphia Eagles game. They had Detroit Lion Barry Sanders gear, and these fans sitting about 5 rows in front of us, but about 10 rows behind the Detroit fans. And they were just plopping them with snowballs. And then the guys would look back and everybody just be, stone-faced. And then they turn around. Then right, and just popped it. And they just kept doing it throughout the game. And finally, the guys just got up and left. But I'll never forget that day. And, I think, that was probably one day that I'll never forget.
That was awesome. Hey, Calvin, I know that you're involved with the University of Purdue, your alma mater, with the athletic department there. Very difficult times for the college sports scene. What can you tell us about fall sports, winter sports, spring sports, and the state of athletics at the University of Purdue?
Nothing's been canceled. Contrary to popular belief, nothing has been canceled. A lot of sports have been pushed back. We're looking at January starts for our fall sports, and then we'll start to work on the schedules for the winter sports and then the spring sports. But it's been a difficult, time and adjusting, and have to, once you move sports back, you have your limited venues, scheduled dates, limited personnel, so you have to work through all those things. So that's what we're doing at this point. But fortunately, we've got football, we've got men's basketball, which are the primary revenue generators for, most universities. So we've got those guys going, we've got them slated to return. And now we just got to work on the other sports moving forward. And like I said, hopefully to this point, nothing's been canceled.
That's good to hear. Keep everybody safe. The only thing I have to finish with is, in your Eagles man cave, I can't believe you don't have a pair of black cleats.
Black cleats are in my closet. I still have them from 1990, my black cleats. The black cleats are in safe storage. They will go up at some time in the man cave.
Well, I speak on behalf of all Eagles fans who remember those days. Thank you very much for paying homage to the black cleats. They were sweet.
Oh, yeah. Never get rid of those.
I loved them. Hey, Calvin, great to see you. Thanks so much for stopping by. Calvin Williams, Eagles Legend of the Week. Stay safe, stay healthy. You look great, and good luck to Purdue this year. We finish it today with Mad Money's Jim Cramer, big-time fan, as you know, if you listen to this every week. He's on a roll here. Let's turn it over to the Jim Cramer Minute.
I'm Jim Cramer, and welcome to my world.
You need to get in the game.
Firms are going to go out of business, and he's nuts. They're nuts. They know nothing.
I always like to say there's a bull market somewhere. And I promise
Mad money. You can't afford to miss it. Hey, I'm Cramer.
Hello, Eagles fans. I hope you are feeling positive, but testing negative. I think feeling positive about this Baltimore game is very hard. I've spoken to a number of people who have all joked to me, yes, there's a way the Eagles can win if the Baltimore Ravens don't show or they get COVID. That's nonsense. This is another one of these games where I think if I were Baltimore, I'd be looking right through us. I'd say, oh, that's going to be a W. Don't have to worry about that. Let's worry about the next game. Yes, we can be the trap game. Why do I think that? Well, look at what we have. Look at the weapons. First of all, we have a guy, Fulgham. He was nowhere, right? Now, he is going to cause even double team. They may have to double team. So finally, Zach will be open. This is Zach's weekend, okay? People say, maybe it's the contract, maybe he's not feeling nonsense. Zach is the best. Zach just doesn't need 5 people hanging on him. By the way, Jordan Mailata, what the hell? This guy is a dream come true. What an incredible pick. Everybody gives Howie heat. What a brilliant idea. A rugby player who's 6'8" and weighs 700 pounds, and you can't get around him because he's got long arms and he's got fancy feet. So I see things that are jelly. The offensive line is jelly. I see things that are jelly. There'll be some wide receivers coming back in the lineup. I see things that are jelly. Has anyone seen Miles Sanders run for a touchdown, one of the longest in the NFL? I see things coming with the defense, with sacks. I guess what I'm saying is, I know it sounds preposterous, but I think we can beat Baltimore.
That will do it for this episode of the Eagles Insider Podcast presented by Lincoln Financial Group. I'm Insider Dave Spadaro. Hope you're all ready for Sunday. Lamar Jackson, the 4-1 Baltimore Ravens. It is a huge test. And fans in the stands at Lincoln Financial Field, we've got you covered on PhiladelphiaEagles.com and our official app as well as our social channels. The kickoff show presented by Exalta begins at 12:15, and then our post-game show presented by Rico immediately after the game from Lincoln Financial Field. Thanks for joining, everyone. Thanks to Peter Kelly and Ray Doyle for their work here. And thanks to all of you for joining each and every episode here on the Eagles Insider Podcast presented by Lincoln Financial Group. Insider Dave Spadaro with you. Have yourselves a great Eagles day, and fly, Eagles, fly.
E-A-G-L-E-S, Eagles!
We want you to know about all the podcasts in the Eagles network of podcasts. So make sure you tune in to not only this Eagles Insider Podcast 3 times a week, But make sure you subscribe and listen to the Eagle Eye in the Sky podcast every Tuesday and Thursday, our Journey to the Draft podcast Tuesday and Thursday, and our Eagles Update podcasts, which give you the news in a flash, Monday through Saturday throughout this 2020 season. Sign up, subscribe, and listen to our Eagles network of podcasts.